Yeah, the demand is so crazy. That's the thing about the demand is people still want to play Demon Souls. People still want to play. I mean, people still haven't been able to play Demon Souls or Miles Morales like on PS5, right? Or I mean, you can play some of them on PS4, but people want to experience the PS5, So it's just it's rough right now, and it's rough because like they have to get their stock situation. I mean, it's so bad to the point to where you look at Japan. Dude, they're barely given any systems there. It's been the lowest launch ever for Japan. The lowest ever. They've barely
video on Twitter. Oh man, that got out of hand. They had people like literally like storming like the register gates trying to get at them. It was crazy.
It's rough right now, and in lots of places, Europe is rough too. Like they're not getting any.
So the reason I look to say, well, it shouldn't have anything to do with supply because they're going to launch Returnal with supply constraints on the system, and if they come out with something in June, which I assume most people believe that they're going to have something at least by June. I mean, according to AMD themselves, that they probably will launch into another constraint there for consoles with a big game.
But Returnal, that game doesn't need to sell as much as a game like Ratchet, right?
Yeah. Ratchet probably had a significant budget, and Insomniac's been busy. They did Miles Morales, they did Spider-Man Remaster. I mean, right now, we could say Insomniac is carrying the PlayStation 5 in a way.
But what we just saw in the UK is that people will still buy these games even a month or two after they've launched, as long as they get a PS5 then. So if that's the case, then 6 months from now, Ratchet and Clank could sell.
Ratchet and Clank would sell. Returnal probably won't sell 6 weeks.
Why can't they do what Nintendo does and keep their prices higher and just continue on with that and deliver systems because the demand's so high? Like they could sell Ratchet and Clank for $60 or $70 in the holiday time.
That's their goal. I've talked about this when it comes to Sony. Sony's when people say, "Oh, well, Nintendo doesn't drop their prices, Sony and they drop the." I'm like, look, the market determines things. These retailers will drop the price based on the demand. Sony wants no part of their games being $5 at the end of the year. They want no smart business person wants that. None of these companies want that. Okay, so Sony's trying. That's why they haven't dropped the official price of Demon Souls. It's been how many months now, and it's been multiple. And Demon Souls is still $70. Sony is trying to hold still and be like Nintendo in that respect. So I think that they can this time. I mean, now that they have a system to where like the quality's super high, I think they're going to try to do it. Let's see if the market actually agrees with it though and continues to buy the games 7, 8, 9 a year later like Nintendo games. We have to wait and see if the market actually responds to it.
Sure. Okay. That's why I'm a little surprised they're not going to have a game out until the end of April. It seems, or beginning of May. It seems like a while after launch to have the next title really.
It is. I mean, this is very similar to what we saw with the PlayStation 4, though. PlayStation 4 launched, and the next big release wasn't until, Infamous Second Son?
Mm-hmm. That was February, right?
No, it's a February.
March? Yeah, it's February. Wasn't it?
So it took some time. I mean, we went from Knack to Infamous, and this time it's going to be a longer gap.
How dare you forget Killzone Shadowfall? Sorry, Nick, I got to interrupt. How dare you forget the almighty Killzone Shadowfall?
That was a release.
I beat that game and forgot it.
It made everyone's PlayStation 4 sound like a jet engine.
Hey, I went back and played it at the end of last year. It's still not great, but
That's good. It's still
not very good. Killzone 2 is still very good, though. I actually played a little bit of that on the PS3.
I enjoy Killzone 2 and 3.
Although I guess on the opposite side, Microsoft's not releasing anything either.
Yeah, neither one of them have really had a big release. You can actually look at both these systems and kind of say to yourself, why did they come out in November of 2020?
That is cool for Microsoft, though, is not releasing.
They could have easily put these games out in March.
No, I'm just messing around.
These systems out in March.
So let me pitch something to y'all. So the major thing that won me over to the Nintendo Switch, originally I did not like my Switch very much. I bought it day one, I beat Zelda, and then I kind of put it down. The thing that kind of won me over was actually really good indie games. Do you think that maybe like Nintendo was smart to advertise indie games really hard for that first 6 months until we got to Mario Odyssey, which blew all our minds? Do you think that maybe Microsoft and Sony should be pushing like, hey, here's some PlayStation 5 and Series X indie games, because they're not?
I think Sony needs to lean into Kenna Bridge of Spirits immediately. That needs to be. They need to actually push that, possibly with some marketing, whether it's on the front of the PlayStation Store page, or I don't know if they have some sort of marketing on their site that they have set up for deals for different companies. They just need to slot Kenna the Bridge. it has to be one of the banners or something.
I just
ways to advertise it without actually doing commercials and stuff, you know. So.
I just think it's a little hard for them when it's like, all right, get these next gen consoles that can do up to 8K graphics and do all this stuff, but play this 16-bit looking game. And it's kind of hard for them to push a lot of these
like
smaller
Kenna,
titles.
Dude, Kenna looks Pathless, yeah, but Kenna looks really good. Beautiful. That is a really good looking game.
Yeah.
Yes.
So like that's Bug Snacks, honestly.
But that's what I'm saying. Kenna actually looks like it could sell systems possibly if they actually push it hard enough and show it off. So that's all I can really think of them doing right now is, like you said, look towards like smaller games that are still graphically impressive and just kind of show them off. And try to push those while we're waiting for Returnal to show up. And I guess is Ratchet and Clank next? It has to be, right?
It better be.
I hope so.
June or July, maybe summer type of game.
It feels like a summer game.
I feel like when they showed off that game, it was like, all right, this is going to happen at launch. And I was like, okay, it's going to happen in launch window. And now we're coming to the end of launch window in the next 2 months. And I'm like, where's this Ratchet and Clank game?
I can't prove it. I can't prove it, but I really think that they're holding. I mean, Nintendo sometimes have held their games for. I mean, yeah, it's maybe not the bigger, newer games, but what was it, Nate? They held like New Super Mario Bros. For like a year, like Yoshi for like a year, and some stuff. So I know that's different. That's not the same thing. Those are like ports or whatever. But with this one, I just think that they have to with this one. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, Nintendo. Yeah, they held back New Super Mario Brothers U Deluxe for about 11 months. It's a long time to sit on a release until they said, oh, it's ready. Pikmin 3 they sat on. And Nintendo sits on games every generation, all the way back to the 3DS. They sat on Majora's Mask for like a year. And it could be the case of Ratchet and Clank. It could just be that Insomniac's been busy with Miles Morales and Spider-Man Remaster, maybe DLC for Miles Morales. And Ratchet and Clank, they said, you know what, we're going to wait a little longer to finish you up. We want to get this content out first, or we want to get the ray tracing at 1080p and 60 frames a second ready for these games ahead of this. It could be Sony is saying, we need more systems out there. We need this game to sell 2 million in that first month, and we simply don't have enough supply to feel comfortable doing that. There's numerous factors that could be at play here. It's rough for us early adopters to be sitting there saying, I bought Demon's Souls, I got Miles Morales, the next game I'm playing is Destruction All-Stars?
Yes, we're going to be playing that, I guess, on Tuesday.
Could be the sleeper hit of the year. Could be the sleeper hit of the year. You don't know.
It could be.
$50 before they were going to sell for 70. So
that was not going to work.
That was not going to work. Although I did have people telling me, well, it's probably worth 70. I was like, all right, that's fine. You want to buy it for 70? Feel free.
I'm gonna play it. I'm gonna be excited. It's David Jaffe, the guy who invented Twisted Metal, is super hyped for that game, and I kind of feel like if Twisted Metal says it's good, I'm extra curious about it.
All I'm gonna say,
saying it's good. Jeffy's saying it's good.
Okay, look, Drawn to Death said it's good. Okay, sorry.
What are you saying, Click?
yeah, all I'm gonna say is after Cyberpunk, I don't care if things get delayed right now. At all.
Cyberpunk got delayed a million times, though.
I'm enjoying playing my backlog.
It is fun, it is memorable, and it's worth replaying and or looking forward to perhaps another addition to a series that it might be part of. I am good to go because I don't need hot fixes or patches or hoping that other people will mod my game to make my game better.
Also, you have the entire Resident Evil series to play through anyway.
I'm about to leave this call.
Oh gosh. I will say this. People, if you need some, everything's backwards compatible, right? I've been playing a ton of, John got me this game it was the Spawncast skipped a couple years ago, but Star Wars. And it is so good. It's much better on Series X than it was on my Xbox One X. Like way better. I'm having a lot more fun with that. I actually restarted because I was like 10 hours plus in, and I just wasn't feeling it as much on my Xbox One X. But on my Series X, it plays phenomenal. They have the update on there. It's so good. So you guys can play that. If you haven't played it, play that on your.
It's good.
5.
It is good. It is a good game.
Yeah. It's really good.